Hey guys, I wanted to show one of my favorite ankle lock variations, which is basically a legal-ish heel hook that you can use in the gi. I'm not exactly sure on how the rules will call it, but it's used in competitions so much these days that it's basically legal, so I'm gonna go into it. Also guys, if you guys like the content, the best way to support the channel is like and comment. All right, so I'm gonna start off with explaining the mechanics of how to control the foot, and then after we kind of understand that, we're gonna talk about different finish variations and also different setups, okay? So the main thing with this ankle lock is there's different ways we can finish the ankle lock, right? One way is I can kind of fold the guy's foot inward, almost like he's rolling his ankle, so it's like breaking it on the outside, almost similar to like a toe hold. That's kind of the classic way. Another way is straight back, where you're hitting on top, and depending on the positioning of my opponent, different ankle locks are going to be a better choice for the situation. But the one we're going to focus on the most today, which is the heel hook variation, is I'm going to actually be breaking it by rotating it outward, okay? And when I have good leg positioning, it's going to create a rotation that actually will attack the inside of his knee and can potentially function just like a heel hook and blow the knee out and everything. So be very careful with your partners when you do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the foot up in my armpit, and I actually want his heel to rest on my rib cage, right? I'm not going all the way deep, right? One of the main ways someone will defend an ankle lock is they try to turn their foot inward. So let's just turn this way a little bit, right? So no, you stay over there, right? Is you see like here when I'm going for this ankle lock, if he turns his foot inward, I don't have any ankle lock, okay? It's very hard to finish here. For me to do the ankle lock, I actually want to control where his foot's going, and I'm going to break it off of the leg and rotate it, right? A lot of people, they try to do an ankle lock, and it's almost like they're imagining they're attacking the Achilles tendon. In my experience, when I'm fighting someone much bigger and stronger than me, anything where I'm trying to do it like that, it's just not going to work. I want to focus on isolating the foot and breaking it off of his leg, okay? So for this reason, we're going to set the heel on our like kind of chest rib cage. My left arm, I'm gonna go as deep as possible this way, and I kind of contract it tightly. And now I'm just gonna grab my lapel. I'll start high with the grip, but as I apply force, I'm actually gonna loosen it and let it go down, okay? So I have him sitting on the floor right now, just so I can demonstrate this with a good angle for the foot. But in reality, one of the most common situations we're gonna do this is he's gonna be up on his knee. We'll do that in a second. Okay, so the main thing is once I'm here and I have this heel locked in on my chest, and his foot kind of locked behind my armpit, and I'm here. Now, when I rotate this way, what's happening is it's functioning just like a heel hook. I'm rotating his foot this way, and my knee pressure here, pushing in on this knee with my left foot on this inside hip area, kind of creates a rotation that's actually gonna blow the knee out, okay? So it depends on the guy's flexibility level and the position, whether it's gonna hurt his foot first or his knee first, and also how he's responding and rotating. Technically, if I go here, he could try to roll this way to try to alleviate the pressure, and I would roll and chase it. I'll get more into that later, but just to understand the mechanic, if I'm here like this, and I rotate that way, I'm literally doing the same thing as a heel hook. I'm rotating this way, turning the knee in, and I'm gonna blow his knee out. And this is completely IBJJF legal, okay? Now, the ref, it's a very hard thing to say whether you're going for the ankle or this. I've seen Isaac Doderlin, Mikey Musumeci, a lot of other competitors hit this all the time in competition, so you can definitely do this in gi competition, okay? So now he's gonna be up on his knee. Okay, so the big thing here with the knee, again, a lot of guys will try to defend your ankle lock by rotating their knee in and they try to roll away, right? If you have set this position correctly with the heel on the hip, now when he tries to rotate his knee in, he can't, because that foot, we're gonna turn this way, all right, go all the way around. That foot, if you can see it, it's kind of like walled against my rib cage here, so it cannot turn inward, okay? So that's why he can't escape it, right? So when I'm here, come back this way. Right, so when I'm here, like this, right, I set this position. Now, often what I'll do is I'll switch my right foot up to the hip and I put the left foot down on the thigh. There's a lot of different finish mechanics, and I just rotate that way and blow out the heel hook. Even if he was standing, so stand up, right? Even if he was standing here, stand all the way up, right? If I set up here and I go like this, as he's standing, look, he's gonna have to fall. There's no choice. He's saying this is gonna blow his knee out. He goes here, now I rotate over, and now the angling and the finishes can change a little bit, but just understanding the mechanic of that control is major for finishing the ankle lock, okay? Another thing to look at here, just be on this side so I can show this angle, right here, okay. Another thing to look at here is if I start with this kind of heel hook variation finish, if he does successfully kind of boot his foot in and turn his foot inward more, he just ends up in more of a classic ankle lock, which in this case, now when I go, I'm gonna break it on the outside here as I kind of fold it this way. and pop here, right? So again, I'm not gonna go into every ankle lock variation in this video. The main focus is to focus on the mechanic of like the heel hook variation. Other people also call that the Aoki lock, right? So I would start here. He tries to rotate his foot inward and I get the rotation on the outside and pop out there, okay? So come back up to your knee, right? So again, I've set the position well, right? I like to usually set this up from bottom because when I'm underneath the guy, I can gauge the distance of where his foot is. When I'm on top, his leg can be going crazy. But here, even if he puts his foot on the floor, I can lift it up and set it, right? And now I've set it. Here, I could finish like this. I could switch the foot positioning, rotate there and get that nice heel hook style finish. If he falls to his butt and tries to go back this way, here, I just follow it over, come up here and finish out there. All right, so let's look at some different setups. So a really common one is if I'm just playing collar sleeve and the guy's being really tight with this elbow, it can be hard to open it up for the omoplata and triangle. I have my foot on the hip. I'm just gonna butterfly hook this far leg, and now I like to switch up to the calf. I've shown this a lot online before, and I'm gonna work my way underneath to kind of an X-guard situation. So I pull the collar, I dip underneath and move him out here. Now there's a lot of different ways this guy can position himself when I pull under. Some guys will stay standing, some guys will keep their knee on the floor, their foot can be at different angles, so I have to choose the right attack, and it won't always be the ankle lock. If his foot is angled like this, often I'll grab this pant leg, I feed this over top, I come up here and I'll start going for the back. Just stay there, it's fine. Okay, I'll start going for the back, but go back to the same position. Okay, knee on the floor. Okay, so, but sometimes when I'm here, the guy tries to put like his foot back to the floor or whatever, and I can start setting this position. See how I use my cross hand to get the pant leg, and I set this foot onto my hip. Again, if he really doesn't want that and he turns his foot inward, I'm gonna do something else. I would go there. I could even turn this into a matrix and start coming up for the back here. So again, you have to take what they're giving you, not just what you want, but I'm giving you the context of where this would fit, right? So again, I'm here, right? I go underneath, I move him out here. Exactly, he tries to step that leg out, so I lift and I cut in here. And again, it's like I'm cutting the Achilles tendon with my wrist, not because I'm going to attack the Achilles tendon, but just to turn the foot in to lock it on my chest to get the positioning. Now I'm here, it's very hard for him to move here, right? And of course, like I showed before, the guy can fall backwards when I do it, but a lot of guys, they don't know what this is. So, and this is where you have to be very careful with your training partners, is that they think they can just like rotate away and then they see, and like turn your knee that way. See, and they actually make it even worse on themselves, okay? It's really important too, when I cut this in, I squeeze really tight with my arm. I want to contract it tight. Here, I'm not like pulling up the finish, I'm just making the muscles tight, so there's no room for movement. Now as I apply force, I could use this positioning, or I could switch here and put this far foot here, like this, and as I apply force, I actually let my hand slide down to rotate, okay? And you can find different variations you like to do. Just understand the mechanic of this is the main idea. So go up. Another easy setup you could do would just be like if I'm in De La Hiva, like this, and I have the collar, I trap this leg and I pull and I bump, I could come underneath here very easily. And again, I could come up on the single leg, or I just start biting him for this footlock position. Maybe he stands up, right? He starts to stand up. I switch the hip and I like to clip out here because that makes it hard for him to put his weight back on this foot. And now I can get that rotation. A lot of times they finish standing or he falls. I take out here. And now here, I may end up having to finish more of the classic model there on the outside of the foot, but it's the same idea. Okay, guys, and you'll be able to find, if you play X-Guard or anything, you'll be able to find your own ways to set this up. Again, the purpose of this video was just to understand that mechanic. So if you're like a smaller guy and you've tried ankle locks before, you feel like they're not for you, guys have too big of ankles, it's hard to finish. If you understand the mechanic of how to control that foot, this is a super powerful attack. Another cool setup is from the Kyotera ankle lock position. So like sometimes when I'm playing De La Hiva, the guy's denying all the grips, he's breaking everything. So I go for this Kyotera ankle lock. If you haven't seen it before, I basically just get like an ankle lock grip from De La Hiva. I butterfly hook his left leg out that way to make this light, and I apply knee pressure. That's gonna go straight for an ankle lock and knock him down. So he falls, and a lot of times you can finish here, but if I can't, I can switch this under, and now I would just try to readjust it into the position. You see how I kind of pull it up and in and lock it in, right? That's the big thing you wanna get used to, is really trying to feel where that position is. I pull it up, and I lock the heel on my chest. So I actually have his heel pushing into me. here. And just be careful when you're learning this in the beginning. Sometimes you'll go here and you go too far out and then the guy's leg slips out, right? So right before his foot gets out is actually where this position is the tightest, right? Now I have a good positioning here. I can start rotating and getting that finish. Again, be very careful with your partners. Like, especially if they don't know this, sometimes they'll just overexert and they have no idea and they'll actually blow their knee out. So be very careful with it. If you use it in competition, be careful with the person you're fighting, but understand it is something you can do. It's kind of a gray area, but it is legal and it attacks the knee really well. All right, guys, so last thought about using that ankle lock is, again, remember, it's just one technique that needs to fit in with the whole system. If you're always just trying to spam that ankle lock, it's going to be hard to do. But if you mix it in with the other attacks and you understand when they turn their foot in, you can matrix, you can go for the back. When they turn it out, you can add the ankle lock in. It's going to mix together and make the whole sequence really effective. Also, guys, a couple of other things. I started a separate YouTube channel called John Thomas Clips, where I'm going to throw up a lot more small detailed videos that I don't think work well as like a giant overview video, but still add a lot of value. So there'll be a lot more micro specific issues on that one. Also, guys, I'm starting a basic website. For right now, I'm just gonna put up some basic free systems. A lot of cool ideas are harder to do on YouTube because the algorithm won't promote kind of more involved details. So if you guys want more organized content, be sure to check out my website. The domain name's gonna change, so I'm just gonna put the link in the description to check it out. Right now, I have a basic double sleeve series up on there, but I'm gonna be putting up a lot more content on it soon. All right, guys, if you like the content, as always, like, share, subscribe. Thanks a lot.